Hello my friends, my name's Darren from RC Scale Models, and today I have another kit review. This one's from Thunder Models. It's their 135 scale British Scammell Pioneer with the 30-ton gooseneck trailer. So this is the Pioneer truck and trailer. It's the British Army's transport vehicle that you used during World War II. Most of these in this box are to do with the desert campaign during the Africa. So let's take a look close what we get in this box. The kit number for this is 35207. We have some history on the Scammell. If you wish to read it, pause it. It is a quite thick box. There is a lot of plastic in this because you're going to get essentially two kits, truck and trailer. It's pretty cool, this chunky box. Inside the kit is loaded with loads of stuff. We have your colours, worksheet, and it's just completely stuffed with plastic. Okay, as all the paperwork, we start with some colour callouts. We do get these colours. This is one in straight desert colour camouflage. This is from the 1st Armoured Division, Africa, 1942. This one here we do have in what looks like a dark green and like a khaki colour. Doesn't say any information about that one. You have this funny looking one at the top here that looks like a draft camouflage type scheme. I'll probably end up doing this one because it is completely different, but again it has an unknown unit, but it is Africa 1942, so I'll probably do this one. We have this dark green one that is Dunkirk recovery unit. And then we have the same schemes again but different profiles. So this one here is the Dunkirk one. This one at the bottom is the desert scheme one, and this is the one with the dark green and like khaki colour. Again, this one is unknown unit, but it is Africa 1942 again. So there is a lot of Africa schemes in this one. As for the worksheets, you get two manuals, one for the trailer and one for the truck. So we go through these quickly. There's a lot of information on the vehicle and in both languages. You start off with a nice detailed engine, which is pretty cool. It doesn't really tell too much about where the colours go, so you may have to do your references. I think the engine is a dark grey if I'm not mistaken, but I say check references, and that's what I'm going to have to do. It's got a little bit of colour callouts here, but it doesn't explain it very well. Second step is lower chassis. This section here looks like the front of the vehicle. We are working on more suspension parts. This piece looks like a transmission case of some sort, and probably the transfer case to do with the winch and whatever. This section here is the winch assembly down the bottom. Attaching all of this assembly onto the chassis. More chassis parts and suspension over here. Here is more winch assembly, and this is winch assembly, like the big flywheel for it. This piece I'm not sure, and neither is this. I'm not sure what these are for. Once you've built those up, it attaches to the underside, which is the drivetrain, and this winch assembly. This looks like all winch assembly attachment still, so this is a drivetrain to the winch. Obviously it goes through a transfer case of some sort. More pulleys. This looks like a transfer case maybe. We have some springs assembly. Working on the actual cab of the vehicle, lower floor, sidewalls, etc. These are internal parts. And then we have the bench seats. The dash go together with some decals, the front firewall and windshield. Turn the vehicle over, we have some structural parts, and you can add the doors and etc. Once the cab is built, you can drop it down on top of your chassis. Start putting the covers around the engine. You can have these side covers open or closed, but I'll probably have mine open so you can see the detailed on the engine, because it'd be a shame to hide that engine away. Putting the roof on. This looks like oil or some sort of oil tank. Nope, sorry, it's an air tank and air hoses. This, I'm not sure. This is to do with the air tank. This assembly is to do with the axles at the back. Building up your wheels. They come in like 5 parts. And then that's the centerpiece, and then you have the outers. You do have 2 types of pattern, and it's just a case of slightly twisting the wheels, and you can get 2 types of pattern out of it, so you have to be careful how you do that. Make sure you line them up properly. There probably is resin wheels out there to replace all of this, but I think the kit ones will be just sufficient enough. Fuel tanks going on. These are the optional parts for the side covers. As I say, I'm going to leave mine off so you can see the engine. No doubt in the desert they probably would have taken them off so it'd be easy access so they can get to the engine, because it'd probably break down or changing for water, especially in the desert. Back of it is the sprue map. Second instructions is pretty much for the trailer, so it's going to be a lengthy build when I come to do this. I'll probably have to do this in several parts. It won't be one of my quick build videos. Working on the trailer, we have the chassis rails, and then the upper chassis part is one big piece. Little structural parts, there's probably a lot of photo etching in this kit as well. I will show you that in a minute. More structural parts, and for the trailer, these look like structural parts as well. Again, you have 3-piece section for wheels, and it's how you rotate it is how you can get a different pattern. You will have to build up 2, 4, 6, 8 wheels, I think, for the trailer on this one. So this is the axles and leaf springs and touching the wheels. Once you've built them, 2 sets going underneath. You want to make sure this is all square before attaching your trailer, because it's easy to make the trailer off balance. Start working on the ramps and actuators and hydraulics for the ramps and assembly. Or are they manual ramps? I'm not sure. But we do have some parts here for the ramp. Turning your attention to attaching the ramp to the back with more structural plates. Here we have more structural plates on the trailer at the front. This is a part of the pulley system on the trailer. More structural parts here. This is the pulley system. Some piping going in. This may be hydraulic pipes, I'm not sure. More structural parts. This is a toolbox. Flicking the vehicle trailer over, sorry, actually in the toolbox we have, looks like a jack. More structural parts. This is structural assembly for the trailer. Wooden planks for helping loading tanks and stuff up on. Optional parts again, so just be careful. This is having the ramp in the down position by looks of things. How you want to lay it out. I'll probably have mine up. You can't have it up or down, you can't play with it kind of thing. It's either up or down. This assembly is for having your ramp up, and this is probably how I do mine, because I want it in a transport mode with a tank on the back. Again, you get your sprue map. and some blank pages. For in the bag you get your decals, photo etch and stuff. Here is what you get for decals. This is your roundel, so you don't get shot at by your friendlies. You have the desert rats and stuff, and the stars. We have this tiny piece of photo etch, some kind of grill. We have this larger piece of photo etch of parts, the fan and structural parts by the looks of things. We have another piece of small photo etch of some structural parts, and we have this large photo etch. They're quite thin, they're actually wafer thin. They have plastic over them to protect them. There is some metal cable or wire and some silvery looking type string. It's probably for the winch assembly. I'm not sure what the metal was for. I didn't see that in instructions, but I will find it. As for the plastic, quickly show you the clear parts. There's going to be no problem with these because they're all flat windows. First large sprue. These are not self-sealing bags, so you're going to have to get a pair of scissors or a knife to cut into this. So we have two sprues here. These contain all your wheels assembly. Quite a large sprue. We have your main wheels. These are the outer, these are the inners, and these are the inner parts. Like I say, it comes in like 5 parts to make up a wheel assembly. These are all structural parts. I'll show you a closer of the wheel assembly. Do have some writing on there, nicely done. There's nice detail on those wheels. Goodyear. So I imagine Goodyear is a American or European company, obviously not European or German. And these are those inner parts, and then we have all these detailed structural parts. The bags are not going to be in any order, so it's going to be a bit of a trailer, a bit of a truck, because they're just thrown in the bag. This one here looks part of the trailer assembly. So we have the main rails and then structural parts. As for the detail on the rails, we have some ejector pins on the inside you have to take care of. This is the outer side. So again, we do have detail rivets. The plastic is very soft. It's a very soft plastic from Thunder models. Here is all detailed parts. Here's a structural piece. Some piping. This looks like a trailer piece as well. So we have the main body of the trailer. This looks like top, if I'm not mistaken, and then we have the structural parts all around it. So we have structural parts, part of the winch assembly. There's one of those pulleys, more structural. Here's part of the toolbox. Nice wood grain effect on each of those. This looks like part of the ramps. nice assembly. We have these detail parts of the tubing, these pieces. All of this looks nicely done. As for the main part of the main bed of the trailer, not a very big trailer, but the British tanks weren't very big that they were used in the desert. Weren't that overly long. This looks like some more trailer parts. So this looks like, actually this looks like the upper deck and the other piece looks like the lower, because this has side parts, so this could be the upper. More structural parts. This is structural that goes at the side here. Another toolbox of some sort, and this is more structural. So here's a closer of the another part of the trailer. More structural plates. Again, nice wood grain effect for one of the boxes. These are more structural parts. Here is another part of the toolbox assembly. This has a wood grain effect on it. This could be part of the trailer, or it could be part of the cab. This has wood grain on it as well. Nicely done. In here looks like part of the truck's cab. This looks like the floor of the cab. This has a wood grain on here. This is the roof. This is the back of the vehicle with like a part of the tarp type canvas piece at the back. Doors. This has a slight bend to it. I'm not surprised with it being quite soft plastic. It's very soft. It's softer than Airfix plastic, and I thought there was the softest, but this is even softer. So you're gonna have to be careful with what glues you use, because if you use quite a strong glue, it could end up melting it. So you have to be careful. But the detail for inside the cab is nicely done with the wood grain. That should come up nicely. Here's some more parts of the wood grain. This is the roof. So this is going to be sheet metal and riveted together. Nicely done. It's all raised rivets, so just like it would be. There is some nasty jet pins on the inside, unfortunately, but I don't think you would see them. Here is inside the cab as well. These have like curtains. Strangely, more structural sides. So it's nicely done. In here we just have a load of structural pieces. Couldn't tell if this is truck or trailer. There are two of these. We've got some wooden planks in here as well. That's for the trailer. So I say there is two of these. So we have structural plates, all detailed structural parts. This is an angle iron piece. This looks like trailer assembly actually. Axle parts. So here's part of the axle assembly. So these two halves probably go together maybe. These are the wooden planks. All fine detail parts. Some more two halves for some kind of pulley system. This is an angle iron piece, like a T-shaped angle iron. These are structural pieces. So there's two of those. In here we have fenders, structural parts, parts of the engine by the looks of things, a radiator. This could be for the truck. Fenders, structural parts. This looks like part of the hood. This looks like part of the engine block and leaf springs. So here's part of the fenders. These detail parts down the bottom. There is some burr lines, so a little bit of swipe of a standard sanding stick should be no problem to get rid of those. We have this piece, these pieces, that looks like a radiator to me, and these look like the engine block. And here's part of the leaf spring assembly, nicely done. I prefer them being in two halves because it's easier to clean up. And we have these triangle structural pieces. This looks like part of the radiator system for the fan to sit in the centre. Radiator shield, is it? Or fan shield. This looks like trailer assembly parts now because we have part of the winch on here, and it's a bit of mix match I think all over the place because we've got engine parts on here as well by lots of things. So this part of the winch assembly, like the flywheel type piece, structural leaf springs. These looks like fuel tanks and part of the engine block because we have manifold up here, and this looks like the windshield for the cab as well. So a little bit all over the place, this kit. So definitely have to go backwards and forwards finding parts. So here's part of the flywheel type piece for the winch, I think, maybe. Part of the engine parts. More leaf spring assembly. Fuel tanks, two halves. Here is part of the cab for the main windshield, and this is probably the firewall. This looks like part of the engine. Here's like manifold parts. So yeah, nicely done. This is sprue B. We have some more parts in here, some hatches. Looks like more engine parts, detail parts. We have this sprue as well. Detail parts. Looks like part of the transmission case maybe. I forgot about that. This could be part of that assembly now. This has a lot of piping on it. Detail parts. Looks like part of the engine maybe. This pieces here could be part of the transmission casing. We have this piece here. There's a lot of little bits on this one. This one has loads of little pieces as well. This has loads of little pieces. Not 100% sure what a lot of these are. These look like levers for inside the cab. That looks like a fan belt or piece for the engine. We have two in this bag, and this looks like loads of parts as well for different parts of the vehicle. So we have two of these. So here we looks like we have more transmission pieces or something or whatever. These are looks like drivetrain parts. These look like caps for the wheels. Structural part here. These are structural parts. These look like spare inserts for wheels. We have some little towing hooks, like crane hook type pieces. So these are all structural. This may actually be a drum brake assembly actually, come to think of it. We have these structural parts. more detailed parts. There's part of the funny looking springs, and then we have these pieces here. This is probably maybe to do with the winch as well, or transmission cover, or it might even be the transfer box. I'm not 100% sure. I have this last sprue. This looks like part of the chassis for the truck actually. So this could be the rails for the truck, and then the structural parts, leaf springs, the air tank, some square plates. Looks like transmission, not transmission, but the axle assembly. So here's part of the rail assembly. As I say, I think it's the truck. We have this piece here. I'm not sure. Leaf springs, 2 halves again. Some pulleys. Here's part of the air tank. The structural parts. These are structural parts as well. We have this funny looking piece. It's quite clean. It isn't flashy, but there is a couple of burr lines, but that's easy to take care of. But as I say, jet pins are in some awkward places, especially inside the rails. Will you see them? Possibly, possibly not. Hopefully not. Hopefully they are hidden. But these jet pins here, you see on the leaf springs, they stick out. You're going to have to make sure you take care of those, because otherwise your 2 halves won't fit properly. So it's going to take a little bit of clean up than normal. But we shall see. So there you are, my friends. It's my first kit from Fender Models, so I couldn't tell you how well it goes together. All these are just in-box reviews, not actual kit reviews, because I haven't actually built it yet. But as I say, this is Fender Models 135 scale, British Scammell Pioneer with the 30-ton trailer, gooseneck. Used in Africa campaign in the desert. There's a lot of schemes in that. It looks like a nice kit to go together, hopefully. Should be coming up pretty soon. I do have a lot of kits in my stash. I am a full-time employee at work. I do have a full-time job, so I can't build as many kits as I would like to. It's easier for me to do kit reviews and in-box reviews and stuff than it is getting kits out and built, because it's having time to do them. If I was going to come to build this kit, this won't be a build I could build in a week or two. This is going to probably take 4 or 5 months. It's going to be a long time. I'll say when I do get around to doing this probably will be in several parts. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you later.